Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to go over the types of chemical reactions worksheet. This is the last assignment for the year for chemistry. This will be due by Friday next week on the 5th of June by 10 a.m. If you turn it after 10 a.m., I can't take it anymore. I have to submit my grades on Friday next week, so I need time to grade everything plus to actually do all your grades. So please turn this in by then. I'm going to go over a lot of the answers right now, so just do them with me. Okay, so the first part, the first section says what are the general formats for each of the 5 types of chemical reactions. So synthesis is when 2 things combine to form 1. So the general format is A plus B turns into, I wrote the wrong thing, turns into AB. So A and B are 2 separate things, generally elements, and they combine together to form a new compound, AB. Okay, decomposition is just the exact opposite. It's where you start with 1 compound and it breaks apart into 2 separate things. They generally are elements, but they could be 2 smaller molecules as well. Okay, single replacement is where you have generally an element reacting with a compound, and what happens is the element replaces one of the other elements in the compound. So I'm going to switch A and B. So A and B switch places. That's why it's called a single replacement reaction. So B becomes an element, and then A and C are now a new compound. Double replacement is very similar, except it's when you have 2 different compounds, which I'm going to call A, B, and C, D. And this time, 1 element from each of the compounds switches places. So in this case, I'm going to switch A and C. You can also think of it as switching B and D if you want. It's the same thing. So the new compound becomes AD, and the other compound becomes CB. So just think about it. A and C just switch places with each other. Or B and D. Actually, I wrote it B and D switching places, but you can write it the other way. Okay, and then combustion means burning. Combustion is when you have what's called a hydrocarbon, which has carbon and hydrogen. The X and Y are just numbers. It could be 2s, 3s, 5s, 10s, whatever. And it always requires oxygen, and the products are always carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so these are just the general types of formats to allow you to identify the different types of reactions. Now we're going to use these to complete the next section. Okay, so in section 2, it gives you a whole bunch of chemical reactions, and it just wants you to determine what type of reaction they are. Okay, I'm going to use abbreviations. So the first one, it says we have sodium phosphate reacting with potassium hydroxide to form sodium hydroxide and potassium phosphate. If you look closely, the sodium and the potassium are just kind of switching partners with each other. So it's 2 compounds reacting where 2 things are switching places. We call this a double replacement. Okay, if you guys want to just abbreviate DR for short, that's fine. Okay, the second one we have, what is that? Propane. That's hexane reacting with oxygen to form carbon dioxide and water. That's the burning of a hydrocarbon, so it's combustion. Okay, the next one we have lead reacting with iron sulfate, a compound, and we're forming lead sulfate and iron. If you look, the lead and the iron are switching places. An element reacting with a compound, that's a single replacement. And if you guys want to abbreviate SR, that's fine. Okay, next one, we have calcium carbonate breaking apart into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. One thing breaking apart, that is called a decomposition reaction. Okay, and then number 5, we have phosphorus reacting with oxygen to form diphosphorus trioxide. And that is 2 elements reacting to form 1 compound. That is called a synthesis reaction. Okay, so I did the first half. I want you guys to use those 5 to help you do the next 5. Okay, now just because it's the last week of school and I thought you guys some of you might need some time to make up some old work, you guys can skip section 3. Section 3 is actually kind of important. It shows you understand everything from the entire chapter. If you have time, it would be good if you could do it. If not, I'm not going to penalize you if you don't do section 3. Okay, last section is section 4. This is where you have to write an equation, balance it, and then identify what type of reaction it is. Okay, so the first one says hydrogen peroxide, which is H2O2, decomposes into water and oxygen gas. Okay, let's just put the whole thing together because it says liquid water, so I'm going to put an L there, and gaseous water. Remember, those subscripts tell you what the state of matter is. Okay, so now we have to balance it. I notice I have 2 oxygens here, and over here I have 3. So to fix that, I need to make it an even number. So I'm going to add 2 here, so now I have 4 oxygens over here. So I need 4 oxygens on this side, so I have to put a 2 there. Now I check my hydrogens, I have 4 here, 4 here, I'm good. Lastly, let's identify the type of reaction. I have one thing breaking apart into 2, so we call this a decomposition reaction. I'll do number 5 because number 5 is the hardest one on the sheet. It says propane gas, C3H8, I'm going to put a little G there for gas, reacts with oxygen gas to produce carbon dioxide gas and water. It's probably water vapor. It doesn't actually say, but since it's producing a lot of heat, this would be gaseous water, water vapor. Okay, so we wrote the equation. Now, the combustion reactions are probably the hardest ones to balance because you got to look at the oxygens and the hydrogens. So I would immediately notice I have 3 carbons here and only 1 here. So I'm going to put a 3 there. Now I come over here and notice I have 8 hydrogens here. I only have 2 here. So I need to put a 4 in front of the water. Okay, now last step is the oxygens. You have to do this together. So if you notice here, I have 6 oxygens, and here I have 4. So I have a total of 10 oxygens on the right-hand side. So I need 10 on the left. So I need to add a 5 in front of the oxygen. Okay, so this is a hydrocarbon reacting with water to produce carbon dioxide and water. That's a typical combustion reaction. That is just a burning of a substance, combustion. Okay, 2, 3, and 4 are very simple. In fact, you only have to balance one of them. The other 2 are already just balanced as soon as you write the equation. But that's it for the year. I hope you guys learned some chemistry this year. Don't be strangers. Stop by next year. Say hi. If you guys have any questions on this or anything else, let me know. But again, you have to turn everything in, including the note packet. Please don't forget the note packet because that's worth a ton of points. We've been working on it for an entire month. If you don't turn the note packet, your grade's going to drop like 30% or something like that. I haven't actually done the math, but it's going to drop a lot. So please turn everything in by next Friday. As soon as you do, you guys are done with chemistry for the year. Thank you for a great year, and I hope you guys have a great summer.